Happy New Year. We are in Volume 2, starting Unit 8. We're on page 456, Lesson 8.1, Problem 1. Why does it seem like they're not very close? All right. Okay, Ms. Romano. Maybe I just make that bigger. Will that help? Is a health coach and nutritionist. Who's pretty healthy around here? Imogen, can you read about Ms. Romano and her nutritionist stuff?
Sure. I'm so thrilled with this. The recently part? That part?
Yes.
Okay, recently she encouraged Matthew to eat healthier breakfast and recommended a cereal with less sugar. There are many different cereals, and it seems like the amount of sugar in each type varies widely. Matthew took a trip to the grocery store and recorded the sugar amount that each cereal has.
Anybody with some New Year's resolutions?
More sleep.
More sleep. Okay. Anybody with any diet resolutions? Our family, obviously, less sugar because holidays we bake a lot and make fudge and eat candy. But salt. My family, we have to be careful of salt. We have a family history of high blood pressure, and so we always have to read the labels and decide between products. And anything that we're making, we don't put salt in. But sugar, you guys probably already kind of have an idea which things are high in sugar and which aren't. But and that's what we're going to be looking at right now. But an interesting idea is looking at the salt. You'd be surprised where the salt is. But anyway, here we go. We've got a list of cereals. Anybody see a cereal on there that you eat?
Rice Krispies. No.
What?
They're kind of made up names, but some of them are similar.
Like Rice Krispies.
With granola. Shredded wheat leaves.
Frosty Flakes.
Cocoa Rounds.
I had Raisin Bran, so probably I'm on Raisin Granola.
I had shredded wheat.
Great nuggets.
Shredded wheat.
Flakes of corn. Golden nuggets.
Honey Nut Squares. We have Honey Nut Cheerios. Oh, Fruit Circles, is that Fruit Loops?
Probably.
All right. Excuse me, which one?
What are grape nuggets?
You know, what are those, like grape nuts, that little wheat one, it's crunchy. You guys ever have?
I'm thinking about like the golden ones are like the what's it called? No, it's called. It's called like pop or something.
Okay, so moving forward, we've got an idea. Some of these are familiar-ish. Some of you've never eaten or even know what they are. Number 1. Okay. Analyze the data collected. What conclusion can you draw about the sugar amount in each different type of cereal? We're going to take 3 minutes. What I want you to do is at your table, answer number 1, but I also want you to go around the people at your table and tell them what's your favorite breakfast. Take turns sharing. What's your favorite breakfast? 3 minutes starting now. Is that your breakfast?
What?
Shredded wheat leaves had like none.
As you see.
The ones with here.
Yeah. The frosted flakes.
No,
Okay, so did you share breakfast? We put on our mixer. It's like a syrup of some sort. What flavor is it? Is it like vanilla or caramel?
Watermelon.
And she doesn't. Okay, so now you're looking at number one. You're analyzing what conclusions can you draw.
But like, I just want to know what cinnamon toast crunch is. Maybe it's like mushroom.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch? You have it yet?
I've had it.
You got Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No, I have Lucky Charms. I eat Lucky Charms.
Okay, so do you share your favorite breakfast?
Pancakes.
Good, now you're answering. Looking at this, what kind of conclusions?
The healthier ones have the less sugar.
The healthier ones have the weirder names.
Okay.
The less catchy names.
Okay, so if that's a chief conclusion, write it down in number one. Okay. Okay, conclusion. You share your conclusions.
Yeah. Chips Ahoy. Lucky Charms.
Chips Ahoy?
Yeah.
Is there a cereal or you just eat cookies?
No,
It's
I hate cookies.
it's cookie cereal.
Cookies.
Yeah. Nobody got time for that. What's cookies?
Analyze it.
Say what?
What
The healthier
conclusions
ones
can
have
you draw about
a
amount in the
less sugar.
So if there's anything about that you learn from looking at these
And
That's a lot.
and there's not a right or wrong
Chicken
answer.
nuggets.
Even if it said,
She did one that was like.
old people eat
I'm an old person. I'm like, I need the like,
That's what happens when you don't pay attention to the food.
you guys,
Yeah, it's the wrong kind of one.
yeah. Everyone is making this.
Not like in the morning.
hey, you should have something written for number one right now. Something written for number one. Okay, who would like to share what their table concluded? Or what you concluded, Isabel?
Okay, so first off, they all have sugar. The ones with the weirder names have more sugar though, and the ones which have a word in the product have less sugar.
Weird names. According to it, weird is up for subjective. It's up for discussion. But weird names, according to Isabel, have more or less, more sugar. But one conclusion was they all have some. Okay. Yes. Or were you grabbing something? Okay. Somebody else, your conclusion. I'm sure there's different patterns, different ideas that popped out of people's head. Yes, Molly.
The more artificial cartoon type sounding names have more sugar, while healthier brands such as granola have the least. Granola, more artificial sounding.
So weird names, more sugar. She's calling it, instead of weird, more official.
artificial.
Or artificial. Artificial. Okay, so something, she called that weird, you call it like an artificial, whereas the ones with less sugar, what about the less sugar? How did you describe their names?
I said like more healthier for you.
Healthy sounding,
Like shredded
like
wheat.
shredded wheat. Why does shredded wheat sound wheat? So it had something that you know what it is, okay? Just broke my desk. I must be strong this year. Here we go. It may be difficult to properly organize. Somebody to read for us. Thank you, Jerry.
It may be difficult to properly organize.
Oh, wait, analyze. I said it wrong. Proper.
Analyze data in the table. One way to better organize the data is to create a graph. A dot plot is a graph that shows how discrete data are distributed using a number line. Discrete data are data that have a finite numbers of values or data that can be counted. Dot plots are best used to organize and display numbers of occurrences of a small number of data points.
Okay, let's look at the little speech bubble. Remember. What's this girl trying to tell us to remember? Oscar, could you read the speech bubble?
Remember, if the value occurs more than once, place an X above the number each time the value occurs.
Okay, so we're going to create a dot plot for this thing. Somebody to read number 2. One more piece to help us understand what we're going to do. Thank you, Christopher. Could you read number 2 for us?
Construct a dot plot to represent the data amount on one setting of this grid. Label the number line using intervals that will include all data values. Place an X above the number that represents each data value and make sure your name is top.
Okay, so looking along the bottom here, the first thing we need to do is label this number line. We need to label it so that it includes all values. What's the smallest and biggest numbers? Do we have a 1?
Yeah, 1 should be, they say 22 is,
Smallest is 1.
Smallest is 1 and biggest is 22. Let's count before we write. Do we have enough lines?
Yeah.
Looks like it. Looks like we're good. That's not all right. Okay, so along the bottom of your scale, you're writing some numbers. Guillermo, yeah, just set that aside, please. Memo. Oh, perfect. Now, we are going to place an X above the number that represents each data value. Make sure you name your dot plot. Okay, so we'll need to name this in a minute. And then what that girl told us is, remember, if a value occurs more than once, place an X above the number of each time the value occurs. So some of these might have more than one X above it. For example, if I take a look at our list, the first one at the top, Cocoa Rounds, what is the amount of sugar in Cocoa Rounds? 13. So I find 13 on my line and I put an X on top. Okay. Now, what they're telling us is that some of these are only going to have one X, some of them might not have any X's, and some of them might have more than one X. For example, do you see something that has more? 7. How many 7s are there?
4.
So this is the way 7 is going to look. 1, 2, 3, 4 X's. Okay, so each time there's a second or third cereal with the same amount of sugar, you place another X right on top. It's going to end up looking kind of like a bar graph, only it's going to be stacked up X's. Go ahead, at your table, please. Record X's for all of the cereals listed on this list.
The most is 7.